Well, Rutgers will not be extending their season by accepting an NIT invite or the college basketball crown, whatever the hell that is, invite. Good for them. Okay, so Rutgers is not prolonging the agony by giving more false hope for an extended season, potential running off some wins, getting to a positive win-loss record. That will never happen. We've been up and down, too inconsistent and choppy. Disjointed, as Coach Pikiell said, and I've said all season long. Let's end it now. Let's step back, get ready for next season and what we're going to have to do to retool this team, this program, to start moving forward. Frankly, I'm happy about it. I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy that Rutgers did not accept a postseason invite. You might be saying, and this is my instinct. Yeah, if you're a player, you're an athlete. That's what you do, regardless of what the numbers are. That's what you do. You play. But this is an NIL era where guys are going to, whether it's football or basketball, not risk injury. And really no point in putting yourself out there, especially for a team that's below 500. No team that's 15-17 should ever get an invite to extend their season. While Cliffy is a 2 seed, Mawad is a 6 seed, Cam Spencer's got a national championship. No more speculations about making a run, padding the win totals, creating false hope, trying to find the positive. Maybe we can take some steps. You're 15-17. 17 losses 2 years in a row. Good decision. Yeah, I get it. Football went to the Gator Bowl against Wake Forest. They got the bid because of our academic scores. Yeah, our academic scores were good. Our on-the-field product was not. We wind up losing 38-10 to Wake Forest. We already have too many teams in the tournament. It's 64 now. We know we want to the NCAA wants to expand that. It's too much. You're watering down the product. And you're allowing TV and streaming revenue to dictate conference realignment now. This is ridiculous. It's all about generating revenue and not about merit of the teams that are squaring off on the field or on the court. There's no coping here. Okay, if you want to go to a bowl game with a 5-7 and a record, that's not good enough. You need to execute on the field. Football is a bottom line, merit-based business, and so is basketball. It's time to get ready for next season. And I actually like this time of the year because all my teams stink. Our local team, although South Jersey, you're doing pretty well with the Eagles. You're a Jets, Giants fan, Rutgers fan. This is your favorite time of the year. NFL draft. It's recruiting season. It's really fun to break down the draft 6 ways to Sunday and do, 900 mock drafts. Checking out the recruiting boards and staying glued to X. What's the next move? What are the rumors? What's in the pipeline? So, in a strange kind of way, I'm looking forward to how we rebuild. And I've talked about some of what I believe what we need to do going forward. And that's getting back to Coach Pikiell, coaching to his personality, and finding guys that play the system he wants to play. Nonetheless, the portal opens March 24th, which is before the Crown Fox, whatever the hell that is, and starts, and before the NIT ends. Dylan and Ace will be gone. I talked about back during the summer, hey, maybe they put 2 years in. They want to refine their game. They want to develop, become more mature, become more aware, study the film. They're going to make their money. They're getting paid and end up with NIL anyway. Maybe you make more NIL initially. Who knows? But unlikely. Both of them allegedly, ranked in the top 5. Flag's going to be number 1, although he's hurt with his ankle right now. We'll see what happens with that. Baylor's Vijay Chrome is number 3. Michigan State's Jace Richardson is number 4. So if the NBA draft turns out that way, Ace and Dylan are definitely gone. I think they need work, especially on defense. Ace needs to work out his court awareness and his positioning and where he is. These guys are not finished products whatsoever. Yeah, maybe if you wind up with the Indiana Pacers like last year, they were that run up and down the court offensive kind of team, no defense. Yeah, if you land in a system like that, maybe you can be successful. But I still see it as a Carmelo Anthony scenario where, you can fill the stat sheet every night, but you don't make it. As a Knicks fan, Carmelo never made us better. He had some pretty good, he filled that box score, was pretty good every night. But the Knicks didn't win. Yeah, Syracuse won the national championship. Harden, the same way. James Harden, the same way. He can fill a stat sheet like nobody else, but didn't make his teams better. We'll see what happens with that. And if and when they move on, we wish them all the luck. And I hope they come back and don't become strangers. We have work to do in a portal, and this is going to be a really interesting season. This is something Steve Pikiell hasn't come up against. Losing 2 top 5 recruits, might lose some other guys, coming off a losing season, and really didn't have the injuries didn't impact this team like last year. Going to need a rim defender. Going to need a wing defenders. Going to need efficient shooters. Perhaps a point guard if Jay Will leaves, and O'Brien Fonseca thinks that's the number 1 option. And I think he believes that Jay Will's gone. But that's the big story. Who stays, who goes? Now, Fonseca says that 5th-year seniors, PJ Hayes, Tyson Acuff, Zach Martini, are gone. Guaranteed to go, were his words. Before these guys came here, they all had offensive upside. PJ Hayes, 42% three-point shooter. We know how bad we were from the foul line and three-point shooting. So, it doesn't matter where you play basketball. If you can shoot threes, you can shoot threes. He can rebound a little bit, too. He had some decent rebounding productivity in the time that he played. I knew it was something. Keep me chill. Tyson, 22 point per game, a guy at Eastern Michigan, and 43% shooter. Zach Martini, talked about this in my last video. Kind of laughable that a 6'9", 6'8", 6'9" guy from the Ivy League was a finesse player and a 40% three-point shooter would be able to fill the 5 position in the Big Ten, no less. That being said, 40% three-point shooter. We certainly could have used that and never really replaced Cam Spencer. Three-point shooting. Almost got there with he was also 90% free throws, and we almost got there with Lathan, who was just under 87%. But those 3 guys, their productivity suffered here. They might be better off transferring to a high major that is a better system fit for them. And may very well likely go on to be more productive. And although Ace and Dylan haven't publicly decided yet, it's not crazy to say, they can potentially benefit from another year in development. The NIL money will probably go up. You get make a couple million a year as a teenager playing basketball at Rutgers. Right? Your tuition, room and board, books, computer fees, having fee known to man, marketing, training, coaching, lifelong business contacts, all that free of charge. Professionals have to pay for all that stuff. Might not be crazy to think about that. Nonetheless, it's how the game is played now. Amateur college athletics are now professional minor leagues. College basketball is the G League. Except that you have to pay, all your needs are taken care taken care of in college. Your top G League guys make over $1 million, but I'm sure they're not getting free room and board. So let's see what we got here. Lathan, I could see him wanting to stay. But here's the thing with Lathan, teams will be aggressive chasing after him. He has that upside. He did comment recently that he's not really thinking about the transfer portal. His quote was, "I'm just locked in. I was locked in on what we had going on right now, and I'm staying focused in the present right now. So that's what I'm going to do." Very mature. Gotta love that in a guy. And he's 19 years old, 18, whatever he is. Love that. Good dude. But he can go either way. And I know Brian Fonseca thinks he's gone, but I get the sense that Lathan kind of liked his time here. He was slated to be behind Ogbole, but we saw that he was a more productive player offensively and that he made some strides. A little bit of a surprise, but not really, because many people thought he had a higher upside, more room to grow. He developed that little turnaround jumper in the paint. I was loving that. Has work to do on defense. Nonetheless, he's a Karl Anthony Towns kind of player. He needs to improve his defense, and he needs to be better in the paint at his size, 6'9", 270. You got to be that run stuffer. You got to be that nose tackle. You got to be more physical underneath. But Cliff, Mawat, Cam Spencer, if he gets paid and he gets to go to a better situation where he's a better fit with the team and can win and get paid, he could very well be gone. I would say right now, considering where we are right now, he might lean stay, but as the momentum starts to grow and he starts to get people chasing after him and he gets to see which teams are winning in the tournament, he is a lean to leave. Dylan Grant. All right, so we might, depending on who stays and goes, Coach Pikiell might have anywhere from 5 or 7 scholarships to give out. We'll see what happens with that. We'll get to that in a second. Dylan Grant, he showed growth and became a diamond in the rough. Averaged 6 points, 3.5 rebounds, 18 minutes, field goal percentage, 44.5%. He's a Rutgers free throw shooter for sure, 57%. And threes, he was in J. Mike territory at 23%. Although J. Mike improved this year. We'll get to that in a second. Doesn't get into foul trouble like that. Has, his rebounding, especially on defense, has some upside. So he's probably the type of guy that will stay. And this might be a good thing for him and for us. A lot of people were saying he should have gotten there earlier. Coach said he finally started to get it, and that's why he got more playing time. So Dylan Grant, despite the long shooting motion, sort of like Jackson Dart. Did you watch Jackson Dart at the combine? Boy, he throws a football. He doesn't have a short, compact motion throwing a football. He winds up like a baseball. Apparently, he was a third baseman. I found that out afterwards. And now I could see why he throws a football like he's throwing a baseball across the diamond. Long delivery, not a short, compact throwing motion from behind the ear. Dylan Grant, basically the same thing on a shooting motion. Jay Will, pretty funny comment. Quote, don't ask me about the portal. Please don't. I have a sense he'd like to finish getting the job done here. We gave him that opportunity after his suspension. Unfortunately, he took a step back. Now, I always liked him. He gave us some energy, penetrating to the basket. Yeah, a little, off balance, crazy shot everyone. But that's who Rutgers is. Whether it's Ace, whether it's Jordan Durkak, whether it's Jay Will, that's just what we do. He did not have a productive year. But the entire personality of the offense changed with Ace and Dylan and their ISO ball play. Sometimes you just don't have the chemistry with those types of players. So, although conventional wisdom is that he'll probably jump somewhere else, not so sure. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Jordan Durkak, the very definition of having an up and down season, not only for Rutgers basketball, for Jordan himself after having his high-scoring game, 27, 28 points, whatever it was, gets put in timeout. He gets put in witness protection. He disappears. He was averaging, 20 to 25 minutes per game, and then it's like 6 or 7 or 8 minutes per game. Don't know if there was something going on behind the scenes there. Don't really know. I'd like to hear what went on then. But if it was something having to do with how he was running the offense, we probably would have heard about it. I'm not really sure. But he's a microcosm of Rutgers this season. Up and down, playing well, disappearing. I like his guy. Hustle, energy, drives to the basket. Another guy with head scratching, kind of forcing shots up. I'm willing to put up with some flaws that way. And the other thing you have to think about is brother Aiden, 6'5", 6'6" at Colonia. Shooting guard, small forward, average 25 points a game, 8 rebounds per game. Is offered by Rutgers. So it would help facilitate the process if we treated Jordan well. Coach Yano and I think Steve Pikiell is smart enough to know how to keep their relationships intact so as not to disrupt any potential for the future. So the thing about Aiden, with Colonia, who did they lose to in the state finals? They go deep into the basketball tournament. He was playing on a bad ankle and still was able to be somewhat productive. But his offer list is not as high profile as you might think for a guy that's generally 4 stars. Some have him at 3 stars. I think Rivals. What is it with Rutgers Rivals? They're like pretty chintzy on giving out their 4 stars. But nonetheless, his offer list is Rutgers, Miami, Villanova, Providence, TCU. But we'll see what happens with them. So all that to say that Jordan Durkak probably coming back, and it's not crazy to say that Jay Will, Jay Mike, and Durkak can lead a team to a better record, more wins than this year's team. Their styles probably mesh well together. Energy, chemistry, diving into the lane. Their style collectively will be less disrupted without ball dominant ISO guys like Ace and Dylan. Certainly, And this is the rogue in me. The defense absolutely will be better with those three guys rotating. Our main issue this year being ranked 366 in defensive efficiency after being number 8 last year and having a couple of seasons in a row of top 10. And, J-Mike last year I always poke fun at his three-point shooting. Last year was 22%. This year he upped his game. He was up to about 33%. So he's not as much a liability in three-point shooting as he was last year. Or free throw shooting. I think he upped that from 57% to 65%. So making some progress there. Bryce Storch is likely back, and he is the kind of guy that is a Rutgers guy. He has length. So right now he's 6'9", athleticism, ability to play defense to succeed, but not on the inside unless he grows and puts some weight on. He's 6'9", 200 pounds. That's not going to get it done in the paint in the Big Ten, but he said he'd like to stay, and he probably will, so he's a guy. Along with Dylan Grant that we can probably build around. So we got coming in, Lino Mark, Caden Powers, Chris Nooley, and Javante Ware. That leaves, depending on who stays and goes, 5 to 7 scholarships. Coach is going to need to hit the portal hard, and it's not something that you sense that he's totally comfortable with. He'd rather be a developmental program. Coach Yano has made strides in that regard. But you have to be built like Rick Pitino. You're a college coach, but you're really a professional coach. And if you want to rotate guys, in and out every year and hope you can catch some magic, that's a hard way to make a living. Whereas a developmental program, you can develop a style, you can develop chemistry, and you can build your programs that way. So Coach Pikiell, as I said in my last video about our defense needing to improve and needing to sign guys that are your kind of guys. Guys that we talked about, Coach Pitino, who said because of St. John's shortcomings last year, it was because he didn't recruit the way that he coaches. He went out and got length, athleticism, and defense. And now St. John's, which is number 1, number 2 defense in the country right now, is probably getting to the Final Four, at least the Elite Eight. Fonseca from Rutgers Basketball, NewJersey.com, believes that the most important place to start is a point guard. Maybe we'll see what happens with J-Will. And in his words, a proven rim protector. At least one sharpshooter. I think you're going to need a couple of guys who are at least efficient. You don't need a 50% three-point guy. If he's going to cost you $2 million a year. Nonetheless, Fonseca said we need a wing defender, a veteran wing who can defend. I think you need several guys that can defend and guys that aren't going to be a liability on offense. Shooting threes, shooting from 2 points or from free throws, which has been our bugaboo in the past. Guys that have some balance. Athleticism, length, ability to play defense, and who are efficient shooters. Let's go. Let's get to this. It's not rocket science. Michigan, 8-24 last season. 24-9 this season. Win the Big Ten championship. A 16 game improvement. They were 14-6 in the Big Ten last year. This year, 3-17 last year. 1 year they turned it around. How? They got tough. Want to play some defense. Let's go. We can do this. Go out and get some guys who can defend, shoot more efficiently. Let's develop that team chemistry again. Guys that play well together. Don't have to have 5 stars. We'll take those 3-star guys and coach them up. Let's have guys that want to be here, want to be developed, want to play in this marketplace. And quite frankly, I want to see us where St. John's is in short order. Everybody enjoy your week. And we'll see you the next time.